But breeding good slaves was the master's game. Buying and selling were the business affairs. Splitting our families without a care. A trend was started a long time ago. Why can't we stop it now that we know? Why can't we change the white man's plan and stop splitting our families and take a stand? Some children look at television and books and say, where is my father? Does he look as I look? There are so many pleasures watching children grow and experience many fathers will never know. We passed through troubles from earlier days when fathers were head of the house, proudly in place. Something happened to some of our fathers with pride, joblessness, and welfare, and the white man's ride. As caring parents, we must make a plan to hold the family together if we can. A mother and father start in our lives. We need both parents. Both should provide aftermath of slavery.
This documentary series is about Thelma, Grandma Wisdom, who shares her life story with commentary, poetry, and past experiences in a way that she hopes may inspire others to share their stories. Thelma, Grandma Wisdom, starts at the beginning and ends
Lord,
in the now.
give me strength, give me courage, give me wisdom, and give me understanding. And Lord, help me to help someone else. And I guess that's why you guys came in. And always in my life, I said, if God allowed me to be, then I want to pass it back. So that's why.
In many communities, in the media, even in our educational system, the dislike of the colored, the Negro, the Black, the African American has been accepted for many years, especially in our children. Thelma, Grandma Wisdom Williams, shares how she was influenced by the self-hate in her earliest memory. Dick, Jane, and Sally was the first book that she read that had all white characters, letting her know that she was different at the age of 7.
Dick, Jane, and Sally was when I was 7 years old. That was the only, in 1947, that was the only book that we had in elementary school. The significance of naming this book, Dick, Jane, and Sally, was I remember there was no one in that book that looked like me. And so Dick, Jane, and Sally is the name of the book, but the little girl in the story, that's me. One of the most crucial things about that is I remember as I was writing that children's story, how sad I felt because I had no one to identify with. So that little girl was trying to find out who she was. And as a little black kid, so many times we search for who we are and what that's all about. St. John. My background tells a story of never having enough. Sitting on my porch, I wonder why this area had it so tough. Urban renewal sold us a dream of owning our own land. By purchasing property, we could become our own man. Happily moving from the country, no more picking cotton and such, but moving was just the beginning. We still had it rough. Our property had no restrictions like that of the white man, so we had no water, electricity, and no money to take a stand. I asked my grandfather once why nigger was my name. He would gently say, daughter, ignorance is to blame. Some people think they're better coming from a different place, and some people think they're better coming from a different race. We are all God's children in this land of the free. With faith, patience, and kindness, things will be what they should be. Changes have been made and my grandfather has gone away. The city brought forth water, and light make darkness like day. They paved all the streets. Me and many schoolmates left town. Taxes took many houses, and building broke new ground. White and black stopped fighting long enough to mix the schools. Black children had problems learning the whites' golden rule. 30 years has passed, and St. John is a place where I've decided to share my talents, making this my home base.
Like most families, the grandparents are the glue that holds the family together, instilling wisdom and life experiences so that those that follow will make better choices throughout their lives.
My big papa was my best friend, and I never remember a time that he wasn't old. But he was my best friend because he always had time to talk to me and to listen to me and to answer those hard questions that a 7-year-old wants to know about. The porch brings memories of my grandfather and me. All the wisdom of the ages he gently helped me see. I wanted to know everything. My mind wandered far and wide. He would tell me over and over, God can make you wise. He said, pray for understanding and courage to make a day. Pray for strength and wisdom, and God will soothe the way. Remembering my grandmother as I followed her through the house and marveled at her know-how as I gently brushed her hair. She would tell me all the secrets that little girls want to know. She knew who was sleeping together and who was beginning to show. We looked at the soap operas, and with a twinkle in her eyes, she'd tell me all the tricks she pulled when she was just a child. We sat on that porch when my childhood was careless and free, and talked about the future as I wondered what I would be.
Thelma, Grandma Wisdom, often speaks of her assignment for the world with her ability to crawl inside of a painful situation and put it into words that the everyday person can understand.
God gave me an assignment for the world. If it was just about me, it would be something that I couldn't do.
Throughout her 10 years as a family planning counselor, Thelma has encountered the problems of the welfare bureaucracy, drugs in the neighborhood, and other social injustices.
Our culture has many problems. Drugs, projects, welfare, black pride, racism. Outside forces affect the family. Drugs close to home. I woke up one morning, Mom was gone. Drugs had taken her from our home. I remember it well, 'twas such a fright. She died from an overdose late one night. We lost my dad when I was 3. There was no one but Mom to take care of me. She took to the streets and started to drink. Said it helped her loneliness. She didn't have to think. I watched her highs and felt her lows. Drugs is a dirty word for a child to know. The assignment and my talent is the ability to crawl inside of a hurtful situation and make that a part of me and put words to it that might help the everyday person. When I think of the everyday person, so many of us don't read. We read what we want to read, or we read everyday stuff that's important to us. But sometimes we don't read outside of the box. And so the everyday person that I think about is a person with a 5th grade education that knows how to read, but don't think of reading as a way to change their life. So
her vision is about how she can help the world by encouraging self-love and healing. First, by a loving God who is love and loving yourself.
So my assignment from God to me was to crawl inside of those hurtful situations. We hurt each other in so many ways, but how do you make the correction? So one of the things that he sent me was 5 young men from 11 to 16. And these young men were sent to help me understand how the hurt started, how the hurt affect your life. And so I knew about the hurt that we have, but I didn't know how to crawl inside of it and start the healing. So he sent me these young people so that I could work with them, so that I could listen to them, and so I could help them find out how to get from hurt to forgiveness. Voices of our children. There are loud voices coming from children of our land. The voices are asking the parents to help them understand. The children's voices ring in every parent's ear for love and affection to keep away the fears. We live, love, and sometimes make mistakes, but we must be more careful for the future children's sake. A small number started from a few voices here and there, but they are daily growing from walks of life everywhere. The voices come from every race, color, and creed. Love from both parents is what all children need. The voices of our children are becoming negative and sad. Hopelessness, drugs, suicide from thinking they're worthless and bad. The voices are asking the parents to help them understand what happened to love and respect that mother and father began.
Thelma, Grandma Wisdom's hope is to stop the cycle of hurt with the power of love.
Saying you love someone is not enough. Love is about what you do. Doing love, then you don't even have to say anything. People know that that's what it is because it makes them feel good. Somebody do something for you. Don't it make you feel good?
Yes.
And that. And so that's what it's all about, the whole yard. But it's a different way of teaching because we've gotten trapped into school books. Well, somebody wrote those books. So let's do love and write the books about us. Why does the books always have to be about someone else, about them, about the other? Why can't the books be a daily love and respect that we have for each other? And that's what the whole yard is about. It's about doing love and not just talking about it. You gotta get beyond talking. Loving endlessly is not about the happy endings, but all the in-betweens. What sadness occurs when love is not returned or understood? What sadness occurs when love is betrayed? What sadness occurs when the love you give is not enough or perhaps not wanted? What sadness occurs when love is lost? But the greatest sadness is when love is never found.
Thelma, Grandma Wisdom's life was full of transitions, leaving Texas, which was her home, to join the Air Force. While there, she met her first love, which ended up being an experience of heartbreak. But fortunately, she was blessed with a daughter, and then she moved back home.
I went to the military to get the hell away from home. I just wanted to get away from home. I wanted to get away from Texas. And at that time, I never wanted to come back. Also fell in love and got pregnant. A single black mother in the eyes of her daughter. A hard-working mother I've known ever since when. A striving mother who fights to the end. My mother has a dream that one day black men and black women will come to their senses and realize we need each other in everything we must accomplish. Mother, I understand. I heard what needed to be heard through your words. I see what need to be seen through your eyes. I feel what you felt through your pride. I am the witness and the outcome of how a single black mother has to strive. You've given me the best you can. Oh, mother, how I understand. Dear mother, the stronger you grow from day to day, I grow with you. I feel what you have felt. I must do.
Thelma Williams went back home to later move to San Antonio, Texas, where she entered several different colleges: Trinity University, St. Mary's, University of Texas, and then St. Philip's College, where she ended up getting a degree as a plumber. She worked for the city of San Antonio and then Motorola as a journeyman plumber. At that time, that wasn't the career that women would work in. Thelma Williams was one of the first women in Central Texas to enter the plumbing field.
The silent power. You are my silent power, my strength that gives me strength, my comfort on the long day of work and worry, my deed to ward off the pain that society has forced me to bear. Stand tall, for you are a man of men. Stand firm, for your values are everlasting. You are like a shadow in the night that watches and protects me. You are like the tree that shade and cool me from the heat of pressure. I absorb your closeness and wrap myself in your need. You are the unseen need that causes my endless energy. With your discontent, I wither and become small and frail. Your pleasure commands me to work, struggle, and survive all obstacles that cross my path. I moved in this house. I talked this man had this house for sale that was 3 blocks from the college. And so I talked him into letting me move in that house as is. That means, he said he didn't want to rent to me because he didn't want anybody calling him all the time, wanting the house fixed up, and if I have a problem, I call the landlord because it's his house and he should fix his house. So I told him, if you will let me move in this house as is, I will never call you. I was really dumb. So he did. He let me move in. So I moved in this house, and when I had the water cut on, the whole yard turned into waterfalls. All the pipes were rusted, and when I went into the kitchen, I touched the sink and the faucet, and they fell in my hand. So I went back to college and I entered in a plumbing class and became a plumber because I had no money to fix the plumbing. And that's how I got into being a first female plumber to graduate from St. Louis. I am everywhere I have been, everything I have experienced, every effort I have made, every dream I have accomplished, every wish I have achieved, every person I have met and felt. Still, I am so much more. I am a morning thought, a casual walk, a gentle kiss, a moment of bliss. I am these things, yet there is still more. I am a mother who loves, a woman of will, a friend who feels. You may say I'm wrong for singing my song, but how can I let you see if I don't know me?
Breaking barriers is natural, not as a goal, but as a result of her desires to be the best at whatever she attempts. Testing the boundaries of society is what triggered Thelma to walk in her purpose.
So I was traveling around and I was talking about all the different experiences I had. And this guy came up and he said, "You want a job?" And I said, "No, I don't want a job." He said, "You said you have a degree in plumbing." And he said, "How about a job for, I have a place that would like to hire you. And so I said, no, I don't want a job. He said, let me write this number down and see if you had a job, if this would be a good number to bring you in. So he wrote down the number. It was more money than I'd ever gotten. And I said, So anyway, he said, well, I tell you what, if you were going to take this job, he said, when could you start? This was in early December. I said, well, if I was going to take the job, the soonest that I could start would be about the 20th of January. He said, well, I tell you what. He said, why don't I just put this down that you're gonna come to work for us? He said, I'm a recruiter for Motorola, and we're looking for a person just like you. And so I said, well, January the 20th would be the soonest that I could start. He said, I tell you what, if I can put you down that you're going to come to work for us, you'll start getting paid right now and on full salary, and so you can come to work January the 20th and that, but you'll already have a check by the time you come. I said, okay. So that's how I got to Motorola. When I started to work at Motorola, what I didn't know is the job that they gave me was in the front of 6 good old boys. They were waiting on that job, and they didn't know which one they were going to choose. So they brought in a black female over 40. And so when I walked in there, everybody was pissed off at me. And so what the supervisor had told them, he said, all you guys have to do is y'all get rid of her and y'all can still get your job. So I was set up for them to run me off at the very beginning. And so fast forward, after working with them, doing the best that I could do, and found out the best was going to never be good enough, I wrote a redneck good deeds, because even though the guys didn't want me there, I respected them and I taught them how to respect me. So a redneck good deed was a thank you to the white guys that treated me with some kind of dignity, and it was still like going to hell every day. A redneck's good deed. I worked daily with many white guys called rednecks. Some had very human sides of them I had to respect. They were all so different, but in many ways the same. They were all white and proud and didn't like much change. Some had long hair and rustic-type beards. Some were clean-shaven, hair cut around the ears. They never liked you when you first came in. Acceptance was something that took a while to win. I was a short, black woman working in a mostly white man's trade. Every day was a struggle in the 7 years I stayed. I wanted to be accepted, just work and do my best. It was so hard at times to pass the white man's test. It was like being a foreigner in the only land you knew. You followed all the rules and they would change them just for you. How can we change mistrust and hate taught before we were born? How can we be treated like human beings no matter where we're from? To my redneck co-workers, thanks for the way you treated me. You took time to help in ways you couldn't see. You took time to say, Thelma, you are okay. You took time to say, hold on for a better day. I never let you know how bad it really hurt for my supervisor not to realize how hard I'd worked. I had to do more than just the daily job. I had to help you work with me because of who I was. I had to listen to every dirty story and talk dirty too. I had to keep my values quiet just to work with you. I heard you put females down and talk about my race. My daily work was more than work. Pain started my days. To work 7 years and more where you are one of a kind. Nobody to talk to that understood what was really on your mind. Nobody to understand. I didn't want to be the same. Nobody wanted me there cause black female was my name. I thank you, my co-workers, for your daily help. For you knew firsthand how the supervisor felt. He'd pull you aside and ask you now and then. If Thelma made mistakes in work, he could write down with his pen. He wanted you to help me fail, but you would tell me when. Watch your back, you tell me, he's after you again. I never could have taken the abuse without you standing by. You never understood his treatment. You never knew why, except I was black female, the oldest plumber in crafts, and didn't fit the profile of what he wanted on his staff. Bad treatment from management forced me to leave. I thank you for helping me. It was a redneck's good deed.
Living as a single parent of 2 children, she knows the hardships of raising a family alone.
Everybody's life and love is going to be different. And there's a counselor that can come in and help you with the mistakes you make. But you have to be the one to walk through those mistakes and make the change. Can't nobody tell you how to love, how to get over being dumped, or any of those things. But they can give you rules and regulations that they've learned from life of how to start the process. But those are some really, really difficult questions, and only life can walk you through that. And many times it's a journey you gotta walk by yourself. Problem. Black sons love their mothers. That is noble and fine. But why should daddy always be left behind? Mothers cuddle and love them. Tell them they must be men. They need their dads to show them how to stand. Our race has a problem of daddy leaving home, of daddy finding it easy to leave mom and son alone. Sons try so very hard to be mom's little man, but they need their dads to show them how to stand. The cycle goes on and on. The new father leaves his son. Boys learn what they live, copying that missing man.
Thelma, Grandma Wisdom, has touched many lives and continues to do so. She continues to make an effort to be included in political and non-political events and activities in Austin. She is an active member of the St. John's community, where she is known as Grandma Wisdom. Thelma Williams has been featured in the Austin American Statesman, Interim Insight, Tribune Herald, and various other periodicals. Her speaking venues range from schools, churches, and public forums. She has a special love for children and young adults and encourages youth to persevere with her positive and motivational influence.
A house divided against itself cannot stand. A body divided against itself cannot win. The African American is part white man. Most black families are not colored black. Hating your likeness don't change the fact. So you hate the slavery from which you came. Hating your whiteness don't change anything. When you hate a part of yourself, you can't be free. And the whiteness within you will always be. Love your blackness and take a stand. But don't lower yourself by hating any man. Fight to make your blackness the power within. Teach and train your children where their blackness began. Teach them to love themselves, but color them clear, so they can see through the hate of our black and white fears. The cycle of hurt need to stop. The truth shall set you free, not protected.
Ms. Williams has developed several seminars geared towards family, love, commitment in relationships, cultural unity, and many more subjects that affect positive spiritual growth in the family and communities. Thelma, Grandma Wisdom, has touched many lives and continues to do so. Her home in St. John's is known as the Love Yard, where messages of positivity and love is seen everywhere that she looks, which is to say out loud what hasn't been done.
I love you. Remember what I love as black people is. It's not the same love. It's the same love. It's not the same love. It's the same love. That make any sense? Yes. Not the same love. It's the same love. Love have no color.
Yes.
So, I want to get ready to pray us out of here with a little thing that I wrote. And part 1 is a prayer for the black nation. And part 2 is a prayer for the world. And it goes a little bit like this. And Dave's going to help me turn this page. That's why he's sitting here. And I thought I would need him for the Bible, but I'll keep the Bible, but he can turn the page for me. Let's stop putting each other down. A prayer for the black nation. Dear God in heaven above, help me deal with the blackness of the world. First, Lord, teach me to like myself so I can love others and really help. Lord, help us treat our black brothers with respect and stop looking for faults just because we're black. Every time we open our mouth, we put our brother down by saying he's worthless, saying he's a clown. The white man says it in newspapers and books. He's like a god. His words can't be shook. Y'all need to go vote. When our black brother do anything of worth, we put him down, always seeking the worst. We destroy each other with every negative act. We help the white man keep us on the wrong track. Let us pretend for a moment that this is Freedom Day and all the hate of the white man has gone away. The black man is free, what a great relief. We have full control and power to fulfill our beliefs. We own great factories, newspapers, and stores. We control the election from shore to shore. We hire the black man, guys. We have the power to hire the best. How many black brothers can meet this test? Are we ready to run the world, to work with each other as brotherly love? Could we stand before the nation with a fair and equal plan, or would we make the same mistakes as the white man, as our hero, the white man? Do we trust each other enough to meet the demand? Do we love our brother enough to give him a chance? We condemn our black brother after a few mistakes, but look at all the errors we let the white man make. He kept us slaves for over 200 years. How many hundreds of bad things have we had to forgive? I'm not telling you to hate the white man this day. It's time to put all hate away. I want us to stop putting each other down. Stop saying black man is no good. He's saying he's just a clown. We are the black hope, and we are not perfect, and that's a fact. We must give each other a chance and stop setting each other back. We must realize that the white man is not the only one holding us down. He doesn't have to if there's a black person around. We need to use our faith and take a stand to start loving ourselves. We are the black man. To start loving ourselves. We are the black man. Let's stop putting each other down. Part 2, a prayer for the world. I ask my God for a prayer to be found to help my black brothers and sisters to stop putting each other down. Now I'm on my knees again, asking God to help me understand. How can we start to accept the many differences of every woman and man? I cut my television on, and it shows the many faces of pain. It shows self-righteousness, intolerance, and there's such for someone to blame. Now I'm on my knees, asking God to help me understand what caused the white race to believe that they're better than any other man. God is only judge. Man needs to get back in his place. God is the leader of the whole human race. God set up rules to protect all human rights. The rules are not black for the universe, every creature within. The rules against mistreatment, hate, anger, and sin. The rules have no sex, no race, color, or creed. The rules are global and what everybody should use. God, help us look in our inner mirror when we start to inflict pain. Help us to understand our basic needs are the same. We all want love and respect from one another. We want understanding and acceptance from our sisters and our brothers. As long as we continue to put the other person down, our human rights will not be found. Judge not, said the Lord, stay heavenly bound. Let's stop putting each other down. I am Thelma, Grandma Wisdom. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Daniel Williams. This is Alan Weeks. Alan, who is Grandma Wisdom to you?
Well, I'll tell you, when we first met Thelma, she was still working nights and trying to take care of her family. And I think first of all, she's a loyal and great mom, grandmother, on everything you could think of. Family comes first, and she models that. But more than that, she's been like a mentor to some of the most troubled youth in our neighborhood. Kids that other people just don't know how to reach. And she reaches them through food, through giving them work to do, making them sweat, giving them a challenge, and helping her with her projects. So she's a mentor to youth. But she's also, I was an English teacher, and just seeing, she's an artist. And she has captured the culture and the history of the St. John neighborhood in her poetry like no one else, in her stories like no one else has. And because of her, I think we have a chance of hanging on to some of that beauty and richness. We have a chance of expressing the story of struggle. And I love her, and I love just that her house and her yard and her whole being exudes love out into the St. John community.